All right, everybody, this is the PWZ podcast. I am Rick Del Santo, and joining me, the original beast of New England, hardcore icon, Bull Dredd. What's going on?
Hey, Goomba, finally back again
I
after
know it's
10
been
months, a
10
year
months.
almost a
Yeah,
year.
almost. I can't believe it, man. And we had you on a couple times before talking about the legendary career of yours and everything, really. So, what have you been up to these days?
Hey, you see, I've been getting myself out there in a lot more shows, and unfortunately, the more I get myself out there, the more they want you back, and it's like, okay, then shows conflict with each other, but that's the business. That's what it is to be an indie wrestler. But
Right.
you're loyal to your home, you know.
And your home currently is Paradise Alley, correct?
Yeah, that's my home, and I'd rather drive 30 minutes than drive 2 hours to get the same amount of money. But, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I don't want to go drive 2 hours like to Rhode Island or somewhere else. It just sometimes, I'm 46 and I dread the drive more than the actual match now.
I fully understand you there. I hate even getting into the car these days to go down the road, so I can only
Yeah.
imagine. so,
Well,
but
I did a show for in New World Wrestling Extreme, and I had a great time, and I wanted to go back, but they wanted me back, but the next show conflicted with Dieselmania. So
mhm.
I'm committed to Paradise Alley, and I had a great match against. He's actually going to be there on Saturday. His name is Shay Cash, and I had a great
Okay.
match with him, and I dreaded the drive home because, like, after that match, I took a lot of bumps, and that 2 hour drive home, and I couldn't get out of my car, and I couldn't even go up the steps. But
Wow. And
it's all
speaking
for
of
the love of the
which,
business.
you're right, absolutely. And speaking of which, this Saturday's Elm City Showdown at the JCC, presented by Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping I'm going to get to that show. It's going to be another big event. There's a lot of new names on that show.
A lot of young guys.
Yeah, a lot of younger guys coming in. So I haven't heard any word as to who you're facing. Is there
I,
any surprises? Nothing yet?
your
Okay.
guess is as good as mine right now. But honestly, yeah, sometimes I would like to know. You like to have a little heads up, like, hey, prepare in a way. But it's not the first time, not the last time I get to the event, and that's when you find out.
Right, right. So you've had quite the eventful year as well. Traveling
Yeah.
new places, like you said, you got to work Battlefront. Was that your first time working Battlefront?
Yeah, I've been wanting to go there. I had my, mixed opinions that going up there, but like sometimes like shows, they would run a show and I couldn't make it up there because,
Mm-hmm.
I've been divided. I was very hesitant at a point in my life, at a career where getting myself out there. But they would run shows and I couldn't make it because I had the kids that weekend and and they were still my younger one was still smaller, but now I bring him to shows with me, and they ran a show and I contacted Dan, Necromancer, and because I was available that weekend and we made it happen. I had a great time.
I've been seeing your son go with you at shows quite frequently, hanging out. What's he think of professional wrestling? Any dreams or aspirations to join the wrestling life?
I ask him, and he goes, but it's in his blood. He was a baby, when we were at Defiant DPW, and
Mm-hmm.
my ex-wife would hold, Tammy would hold him, and he was a baby, like in the crowd. So it's in his blood. My daughter, yeah, she understands it a lot more now, but she doesn't come to all the shows because she has school and everything. But I ask him, and he goes, but I make it clear to him. Just because daddy's a wrestler doesn't mean you need to be. It's like, I just want
Right.
you to follow your dreams, no matter what they are. And I just hope that the steps I took to follow my dreams, that path, you take the same path, whatever what you want to do. And that's for both the kids. And that's
Yeah.
what I tell everybody,
And he's
And
still young, right? He's still young,
he'll
like early teens.
he'll be 14 at the end of the
Okay.
year.
They're around the same age as both my son and my stepson. Wow.
Yeah.
I always bring my boys to the shows whenever they're in town. So, uh, yeah, let's get them together one day. And they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
necessarily wrestling fans either.
Yeah.
so, but But I got to tell you that one of the things that they do enjoy watching Bull Dread, though I will tell you that. And when my boys came the last time, I think they came over the summer. They stayed with me a month. One of the first things they asked me, "Is there any Paradise Alley shows?" Literally, there was one the day that they were coming into town. So I picked them up from the airport, and we went to a show at night. The second thing they asked me, they were asking if you were on any of the shows. So,
oh, it's good. Wow. I mean, I guess. Does that have to do with like maybe that video too when I kissed the little one on his head
oh,
too?
little one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. He
What's
likes
his name?
seeing
Jameson, right?
Jameson, right? Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
he still lives. He lives with me. He's
Yeah.
with me and my wife now. But he loves going to the shows too. But he's a little too active, so I don't bring him as
Yeah.
much.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah, I can't pay attention. Sometimes I film a lot of the shows, the smaller shows, so I'm not able to if I got him with me. Um, but if I could, I bring the older boys. He'll sit with him while I do all the good stuff.
Yeah. It's it's nice to be remembered and people recognizing you. Like I don't know if you saw the picture I posted the other day, and I took the kids out to Buffalo Wild Wings in Waterbury, and as soon as we walk in, they greet us, and the kid greeted us, and he was like, he looked at me and literally goes, "Wait, aren't you?" And I stopped him. I looked at him. I go, "Yep." And lo and behold, he was a kid that used to come to the Northeast shows, and that's how he remembered me.
Okay.
And he was going around telling all his workers, the waitress and that shit, that like, who I was my daughter was like, he's still talking about you, telling everybody. And and the late waitress came up and she goes, "Yeah, you literally made his day." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a great feeling." And I took a picture with him, and he showed me a picture that we took together like 6 years ago.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's funny when I go into the Stop and Shop over here out in Cheshire. Everybody in the deli is apparently a wrestling fan, so I'll be wearing. Somebody commented on my Terry Funk shirt that I'm wearing now today. Like, oh, he's great. Every time I wear a shirt, so I gotta. Then now everybody wants to sit there and talk to me for an hour about wrestling. Yeah. But they always talk about Northeast wrestling, and they said they've been going there for years, and they do. Your name has been brought up a couple times, and Ronnie's name was brought up as well. So.
Yeah, it's tough when people talk about Northeast, and just like the kid said to me on Saturday, he goes, "It's just not the same without seeing me and Ron." And I have to take that. I take that to heart because things still burn me at times. Still being an active wrestler, and they're running my hometown.
Right.
Yeah,
they run around the corner. Yeah,
they're literally running November 20th, and I was working for Tough and Talented, but he canceled the show. And literally on the 20th, now I'm free, and they're running at the high school, literally a 2-minute walk for me. So I kind of feel like I'm an active wrestler still in Waterbury, and you're in my hometown, and you're not contacting me. I should.
You worked there you worked there for years. One of the things I noticed is though that place has changed. Northeast Wrestling over the years, they seem to go for a lot of like bigger indie talent, it seems, and less local guys. Very few local guys, I should say.
But that's the way. Yeah, I mean, they used to bring in all the local guys, and but that's the business and how it's changed now because it's all about the money. It's about how many asses you can put in seats.
Right.
And just like with Ronnie, people still love him and they want to see him, but not everybody's there to paying to see him. They're there to see the big other names, and the promoters looking at it like how much money he's going to be making because he has to pay the talent.
I mean, he brings in guys like Cody and guys like that, Darby Allin, and guys that are on AEW TV every week, and so immediately, he knows immediately that the place is going to sell out or going to be jam packed. So then he could put on a guy like Ron, or he had Private Party at one of their shows against Waves and Curls too. That was that was a pretty big match for Waves and Curls.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business. And I understand that totally, but the way I look at it also is I'm still an active wrestler, and you're in my hometown.
Yeah, and you, like I said, you worked for them for years, and then they just stopped contacting you, pretty much, right?
I still kind of think it was an inside thing, but I think it was just an excuse to get me out. But at this point in my life, in my career, like I said, I'm not trying not to be bitter or anything like that, but it's like you run my hometown and I'm still active. It's like, damn, I mean, people got to send me texts and messages. It's like, hey, are you going to be there tonight? Well, I hope to see you. And what the fuck am I supposed to say? I mean, I don't want to badmouth them. You want to eventually go back and you want to end it there. But I'm just very strong. I believe strongly in you should be contacting me. I shouldn't have to reach out to you.
Right.
I look at it like this: if they can contact you to tell you you're not going to be on the show, they can contact you to be like, hey, I would like to have you in the show. We're in your hometown.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, but you can't, I mean, you're not going to get everything you want in life.
Right.
I had my time. I had a great time. I wish it didn't have to end the way it did, but it is what it is. People still know who I am no matter where I go.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, you are known throughout the Northeast. I mean, you've been getting gigs out of state. I mean, that's a positive thing, really. See, you might not be getting a gig with them, a company that you were loyal to for as many years, but here you are getting gigs in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. I mean, so, one door closes, another opens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because, loyalty has its good and bad. There's both two sides to it. You could be loyal to a fault. Then at the end of the day, it could bite you in the ass because it didn't mean nothing. And that's kind of how I felt. So I had to get myself back out there again. And do I enjoy it? Yeah, I get to work with talent that I never get I didn't get a chance to with before. And loyalty is what held me down because you didn't want to lose a spot.
Right.
And I ended up losing it anyway. And I was still being loyal even after that until I made that phone call to Mario. And, and the rest is history. Like I said, it got in better shape. I got myself back out there. I don't want to push myself too much because I do enjoy my time home and being alone. And, then on top of it, I still got to get up and go to work. So.
Yes. You've lost quite a bit of weight in the last year since COVID. You're probably one of the very few people that. Now I know I've gained weight. You're probably one of the few people that went the opposite direction. Yeah. You just trained your ass off and probably dropped close to 100 pounds, I think.
Well,
if not more.
It's going to be 2 years that I started doing the intermediate fasting. I started it at Taco Fest at the North Haven Fair. I started it the next and I was 289, and now I'm stable, and I've been maintaining around 245.
Okay.
So it's about 45 pounds. I've been I'm not trying to get any smaller because I don't want then I can't call myself a beast, but it's just been lifting, and just I'm not trying to get big. I'm just trying to stay healthy and strong. And I do 500 push-ups every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I maintain that. Yeah, and it's just maintaining. I'm not on a strict diet or anything like that. I just, like I said, I fast and I'll treat myself every now and then, and it's about maintaining. It's we're not getting any younger. So I'm kind of preparing myself for the second half of my life.
I've seen some of the food that you've been treating yourself with online.
Yeah. Oh, did you like the stuffed French toast I made last night?
Oh, hell yeah. I would sit there and be like, damn, if I wasn't so fat myself, I'd probably, say, hey, I'm coming over. But, I've been trying to drop weight. It's the beer now that's killing me.
Yeah. You got to look back, like the journey was easy. Well, for me, I can say the journey was easy. It's maintaining which is harder because you could just quickly fall off and go right back to your bad habits. But you ever do something that you're scared of, and you're like, after you're done, you're like, okay, that was nothing. Then you do it again.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. You got to give yourself a goal every day. Give yourself something to look forward to every day, and that's how you maintain it.
Yeah.
So don't say, "I'll start Monday." No, start now.
Yeah. See, that's a problem for me. I want to know. I'm in Waterbury 2-3 times a week. Is there any good pizza places out there?
Dominic and Pia's is downtown. They're right in the middle of like downtown Waterbury. Then I got Vincenzo's up the street where I am. You got Mario's Pizza, which is on Watertown Ave. They're a little bit on their expensive side. They make like the square pizza. They got Dominic and Vinny's. There's a lot of good places. But to me, I've had them all, so pizza's pizza.
That's not true. That's the worst thing an Italian man can say, or anybody could say. Being an Italian, growing up, I grew up in New Haven, literally.
Yeah.
The heart of New Haven is like Worcester Square. It's like it's the best pizza in the world. So I kind of have high standards when it comes to pizza. So
don't get me wrong. I mean, I have my favorites, but it's like you've been eating pizza all your life and have them all from all over Connecticut because of work. And people eat pizza. You can never say no to pizza.
I'm not going to be going and say, like, if I got the choice of Frank Pepe's or Domino's, I'm definitely choosing Pepe's.
Oh, yeah, me too, I mean, Little Caesars is actually, for $5, they make a decent pizza.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when we first moved into our first home, probably 10 years ago before we moved into this one, there was a Little Caesars around the corner. Let me tell you, that $5 pizza came in handy on like a Sunday after work when nobody wanted to freaking cook. You know what I mean? So it's just like go in there, grab a couple pieces. Like, here you go, guys.
Yeah, it was good when you were paying child support and broke.
I'm still paying child support, but it's a whole nother topic. It's a whole nother.
I only got one.
Not a lot. I got 3 kids with my ex-wife, so it is what it is.
I'm saying. Like when I was telling you, like I'm preparing for the second half of my life. My daughter's 18, my son will be 14.
Mm-hmm.
Once he's 18, my daughter will be 22. In 4 years, I'll be 50, and that's when I'm. Then that's when I'm probably looking to wrestling. I'm gonna have to say goodbye, so I'm gonna try to cherish as much as I can in the next 4 years if I make it, in the business.
I think you will. And no matter what happens, if I'm not even involved in wrestling or this podcast in 5 years, you got to reach out to me and say, hey, and say I'm retiring and I will be there for that. I promise you.
Yeah. I tell you right now, I can see we will have a friendship outside the business.
I love that.
I mean, and that's what I think I bring to this business is realism. I mean, it's because what's ruined wrestling is social media. WWE and all the bullshit there. So it's like, and that's probably one of the things I feel like I'm getting punished for is I'm just being myself, no matter what. And you get punished for it, for being your humor, this and that. There's so much other bullshit, negative stuff on social media than I get targeted for something funny.
I get what you're saying completely. It's the society today and that whole cancel culture. It's like you can't have any kind of sense of humor. You know what I mean? You can't. It doesn't allow you to have an oddball sense of humor or dark humor or any of that kind of shit, because it's just like, oh no, you're a bad person because you said these jokes or whatever. I'm not sitting here talking racist stuff. I'm not sitting here talking bad about women. It's just we're having a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these I don't know how to describe them. Neckbeards, hipsters, whatever you want to call them, sit there and cry and then pull the rug right out from under you. A fucking cartoon got canceled in the last year. You know what I mean? I mean, God knows what else. Some Christmas tale got canceled. A song canceled. Excuse me. You know what I mean? It's the modern society, and I'm not saying I'm a very leftist person and open-minded, but it's a little extreme, I think.
Well, I mean, like I said, I look back and I know where maybe I was drawing the line. I should have stopped. Things that I was posting, and I wasn't posting anything bad. Maybe a sexual humor and funny.
See, I don't think it's that bad. You know what I mean? It's not.
But then I got targeted. And I, to lose a spot because of that.
It's
I feel
politics. It was probably just a setup. Not a setup, but you know what I mean. It's just like, well, here's our excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. And I said, I started feeling like I was an obligation towards the end. Like, okay, we're running Waterbury. Damn. Okay, we forgot. We got to do something with Dredd. It's Waterbury. That's what I started feeling like.
I'm
And
going to tell you, you're loved in the New Haven crowd. I will tell you that.
yeah, well, like I said, like like when I went to Rhode Island, I got announced and I worked that shit, that kid Shay Cash. I went
Hmm.
out. People didn't really know who I was. Few people did. I got a feature. Like I got
Really?
the video. There were a few little, noises or whatever. But I made sure they remembered me after I was done. But
I
even
know
though it
it's.
was, what was that?
I know somebody. I know somebody that lives up in the Massachusetts area, and they were extremely excited, and they
Yeah,
were at that show. They were extremely excited, and they loved the fact that you were there.
the one with you are talking about the one with Gangrel, right, in Rhode Island?
Yeah, it's the one.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. They go to those shows sometimes because I guess it's close to them. So
yeah. I saw Eric there, and he's never seen me live.
yeah,
And I
he's a
made
fan.
sure
Yeah,
I came out from the back before the show started. And he was sitting in front row. I made sure I went up to him and said, I gave him a big hug from behind, I think, to say
great
hello.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good guy.
Well, I mean, I try to appreciate the fans as much as I can, people that show you support. And I'm not going to treat a fan any different if I'm in the ring or outside the ring. I mean, depending on the character, I guess, like what I'm doing. But well, anyway, um,
Speaking
they're
of
paying
which,
fans, and I'm not going to change who I am.
seeing that you're talking about the love and the support and all this stuff for the fans, you can actually support Bull Dread tomorrow. Pro Wrestling Tees starts a
Yeah.
24-hour customer appreciation sale, 20% off. Go grab yourself a Bull Dread shirt.
Did you like my new shirt?
I do. I'm actually tomorrow morning. I got excited. I went to the bank today, deposited a check. I said the first thing I said is like, I'm going on Pro Wrestling Tees. I haven't bought a new shirt in months, and then I'm sitting there driving around saying, "What the fuck shirt?" I know I know a couple shirts I'm going to buy, but then I said to myself, it's about time I actually press add to cart for that Dread shirt to myself.
I come up with so many ideas. Like I came
Nah,
across a meme. I came across a meme that I posted, and it said, "I'm a pro wrestling guy." And I'm saying to
mhm.
myself, and Kurt Adonis had a shirt made that says, "I'm a Bull Dread guy," and I'm saying to myself, "Okay, here's a great idea. I'm a hardcore, I'm a hardcore nightmare guy," and I didn't call myself a hardcore nightmare. It was Jerry Strauss from Northeast Wrestling on commentary called me the hardcore nightmare. And that's how a lot of things, like when somebody calls you something, it sticks, or there's something
Mhm.
I say. And that's how I didn't call myself a fucking hardcore icon. A fan said it to me, but I think I should say it too because I beat Ronnie one night. And I think that's how, yeah, twice. And that's how I started calling myself a hardcore icon. But I was like, you have two hardcore icons here in Connecticut. And I was like, two people, a person said that, not me. And
That's how it works, though. That's how it works, and that's how the name ends up continuing. Somebody says it, whether it be a commentator or that's how. Let's see how the Four Horsemen were formed. Arn Anderson just said, "We are going to be the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse." Next thing you know, the next week they're calling themselves the Four Horsemen. You know what I mean? It's always like a line that comes out of nowhere, and
yeah,
that's how something sticks. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that's
I
how it
mean,
sticks, man.
my mind constantly goes. It's on the
Yeah.
go all day between writing, promos, like I talk to myself more than I talk to anybody else. But it's like, and I've actually tried to calm down too, like stuff I post, because I was constantly posting on Facebook, and it was stuff I wrote, and it's because that's my mind going.
Right.
I just take notes now, and you see a quote or a meme, and you post it, and kind of get your mind going. And when it comes to wrestling, a lot of the stuff I come up with is I'm talking to myself, but I'm making believe I'm talking to somebody else in a promo
I'm
or in
going to tell
third
you.
person, and that's how I come up with a lot of the stuff. You
That's
know?
how I practice my podcast. I'm going to be honest. I'll drive around and I sit there putting my show together in the car by myself. You get what I'm saying? I feel
Yeah.
comfortable. And then next thing you know, I got the whole show laid out in my car. Whether it actually
Well,
transfers properly once I hit that record button, that's a whole nother story.
and like what are the things that you saw what did you think of the promo I did the other day on Yusef?
I
I don't
liked
know if you
it.
watched.
I,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I know I did. You're gonna wrestle. Where are you wrestling in? Is that in
Next week I'm wrestling in It's Battlefront Ludlow,
against
Mass.
Battlefront? Okay,
Yeah,
I think I've seen him a couple times. Oh, only video. I've never seen him live, but
yeah,
yeah, I think that dude's got potential, and I think that might be kind of a decent match, man. That's gonna be a good
yeah.
match.
Our first match is on YouTube now. If you type in, Bull Dredd and whatever, it should be the first match to come up. I
Okay.
constantly watch my matches during my cardio when I'm at the gym. I mean, A, because I got my tablet. B, I want to see if somebody's watching it from behind me. If there's a nice hot girl or something or whatever. But I in my promo I said, I'm gonna make you famous. There's a reason for that.
Right.
And this is one of the things I love doing, and on a shoot is I love working with younger talent. Guys that like. I mean, I try to keep up with them as much as I can. Like,
Mhm.
I work. Oh, like I worked Kylon. And I remember you
That
telling
I couldn't
me,
believe. I thought that I thought that pairing was really odd, and I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. But in the end, when it was said and done and the match was over, I was like, that was a good fucking match. Like it worked. You know what I mean? That's like this legend of the area with a future star. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Pairing them up together, and I loved it. And I was sitting right ringside. I was up against the ring, sitting next to Perez for that match when that happened. I loved it.
And he's a big kid. What I mean by
Yeah.
big, like I think he weighs less than me, but he looks bigger than me.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
he's taller than me too, and it's great to work with young talent. And like you said, the pairing looked odd, but I think if you were to rewind the clock and I was 290, I don't think I would have been able to do what I did. It
Mm-hmm.
worked that way. I'm only able to work the way I do because, obviously, of the weight loss. And I definitely felt it on the way home, in the next morning, because the recovery time is longer now. I mean, when we get older, everything takes longer. You
I
understand what I mean?
understand that. Yeah, 100%.
Everything,
Yeah.
everything,
I'm getting up there
everything.
too. Me and you were the same age. I only think
I don't,
we're not that far apart. I mean, as far
and
as months go.
even from
Yeah.
the waist down, everything takes longer. All right. So,
Yes. That's all I got to say.
But in the match, I mean, I don't know, people didn't, on a shoe, I mean, he did rock me with a
Mhm.
forearm and caught me just good, and I was dazed. I went down. Like, that's the first time that's actually happened to me.
Really?
And, just I'm not complaining or anything like that, because you know what? It's like playing football. If you can't take a tackle, get the fuck out. I'm not
Right.
complaining. He was a great match. It was a great kid to work with. And I'll definitely do it again, but I got rocked.
It's funny you said that. If you can't take a tackle and get out, it seems like that's a popular thing in the business. It seems like the young kids these days. I don't want to talk bad about anybody. Like, not even like. It seems like the kids these days aren't as tough. Like when we were growing up, it was a different kind of concept as far as like what wrestlers were. They were more. They really toughened you up. You know what I mean? They hazed you. They
Yeah,
beat the crap out of you legitimately for months and months and months before you actually got in that ring. And they tough guide you. I don't even know if it's just coming out correctly or not, but I hope you understand what I'm saying.
yeah. The opportunities didn't come as easy, because
Yeah,
now it's like, because it's still a business. You don't want to beat a kid up, then lose that money. Then you just lose
yeah,
a student.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one way to look at it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I had an easy road. I had some hard nights
I mean, but
training, but
you grew up in a different time period as well. This is a whole
yeah,
different era of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? You coming up was a different era. Like you were kind of like the end of the old school. I believe. You know what I mean?
pretty
As opposed
much.
to yeah, and like
Yeah.
now it's things are a little bit not as extreme. Not to in a way.
Put it this way: in my era, we didn't see 10 super kicks in a match.
I'm gonna tell you. That's one thing I got. And if you don't mind me getting off the trail for a second, that's one thing I don't particularly like in professional wrestling. It's nothing against the talent that is on these shows. I can go to a show, an indie show, and next thing you know, I've seen 300 super kicks by the second match. You know what I mean? It's kind of irritating. Like that's like seems to be the popular maneuver is the super kick or some sort of suicida dive through the ropes or God knows whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of trendy moves these days that like every wrestler has to do. But when you go to some indie show, 3 or 4 matches in a row, you're going to see a lot of that stuff over and over and over, and it's kind of irritating. There's no.
I'm going to tell you, psychology wise, and something that I saw.
Go
at
for
a
it.
Show. It was a recent show. I was on it.
Yeah.
And I was, in the back, and I was watching. I'm not going to tell you what show. I saw a show. 2 guys working. One of them I worked. He gave his finisher to someone else. The kid got up and hit him with his finisher, or they hit him with another move.
Mm-hmm.
Completely no sold the move that that I took that beat me.
Yeah, that's a popular thing that happens these days.
He hit him with a move, and they're both down.
Yeah,
I looked at it. The fans look at it like, oh my God. The fans look at it that way because they want to be entertained. They just want to see action. I'm sitting there looking like I took that kid's finisher for the win, to put him over. Okay? And the kid that weighs half what I am didn't even sell it like it was nothing to hit him with his own move. To me, I kind of felt like, where's the psychology in that?
No, I had that conversation with a promoter not so long ago. You know what I mean? That's what's lost in the business today. I was on a recent show, and this seems to be I'm sorry. I was at a recent show, and this seems to be something that's somewhat popular in a particular performer's match is that they continue to go for this finisher 3 or 4 times in a match before they hit it. It's like to add drama to the match. You get what I'm saying? And it's just annoying to see. Yeah, there's too many teasers. It's just, come on, dude. Like, that can't happen every single match. And I call this the Ring of Honor syndrome. Because if you remember Ring of Honor, it was just all work rate guys that would do stuff like that over and over.
Don't forget Beyond also.
Well, yeah, they started around the same time, probably, yeah. But I mean, for years there was all these work rate guys that were just doing near falls after near falls. And how many times do you have to hit a finisher? It's not just guys getting out of tombstone pile drivers. You know what I mean? It's just like, what's with that? It's like you hit a finisher and people are just kicking out of it. There's no real finisher. Like you have to hit like something even bigger than your normal finisher. It's just kind of, like you said, there's no psychology in it. I like to see a really good story unfold. That's why I'm a very big traditionalist when it comes to professional wrestling. I grew up in the 80s. Me and you grew up in the same era, and just appreciate the business from the 80s and into the early 90s the most, because it was probably the best era. And I still go back now and watch stuff from, I could put on some AWA from like 1983, you know what I mean? And sit there
I do the same
my
thing.
glory.
I do the same thing. The other night I was watching, I think it was a Survivor Series. I was like, Mike, you got to watch this. And it was Team Hogan versus, I forgot the other team. Oh, the team with Zeus. It was a Survivor
Series. So that was 1989, 1990 maybe? Or 1989, I think.
Remember.
I'm trying to remember. But either way,
he got up and went to the bedroom. And I was sitting there watching that, but I was like, it's getting boring. So
I'll tell you that you said that, because one day I sat there. Somebody I know is like my wife's friend's daughter kept talking about CM Punk, yada yada yada. Like, no, man, you got to watch this instead. I put on Flair Steamboat. This is the greatest match ever. Next thing you know, everybody's like, "What the hell are you watching? Why are we watching this?" They got lost, couldn't understand the concept of this fantastic match. And now I'm not saying it's nothing against CM Punk. I mean, but I'm just saying because he's a really great performer too. He's one of the few in that 20-year period that's like, got it. But the Flair Steamboat thing, I'm like, this is the greatest match of all time. And it's just not clicking with certain people. It's with the era that they grew up in.
Yeah, well, like what you said from the beginning, everything has changed.
Mhm.
It's what's going to draw, what's going to
Mhm.
make money, and you got to use the top. Some guys have actually said to me, because, oh, I really want to get in the Northeast. I'm like, dude, it's changed. Like, if you're not an AEW talent, top indie guy, you're not going to get in, man.
It's like
Changed.
running AEW. It's like running the AEW house show, basically, in a way, because there's so many AEW guys on there, and then there's a few local guys, and they work well with like Chaotic and Ring of Honor as well. You know what I mean? They swap talent. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I mean,
I watch their events online, and I haven't attended one of their events probably in like 4 years, maybe since pre-COVID, definitely. So I really don't have much interest in it because it's like everything is bringing big stars and meet and greets and stuff like that. That's a huge part of their show. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I miss the money. I miss the meet and greet. I used to make money, but like I said, like what I was saying before is it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Okay,
hmm
kind of feels like the Monday Night Wars are happening again. Okay,
hmm
uh, it's a great time to be a pro wrestler with the exposure. I
yeah,
am I get depressed a little bit because I wish I could turn back the clock 10 years, be younger, but in the shape that I am now, because maybe life would have been a little different.
right.
But I can't think like that because I've had a great career, I believe, and and I wouldn't change anything if I had to do it over again. I mean, what's next goal for me is to get into some type of Hall of Fame.
I'm sure that'll happen. I am absolutely 100% sure.
I don't know.
Watch, quote me.
Okay.
Take my word. Take my word.
All
So,
right.
you had a really good year though, wrestling wise. I mean, it's been a weird year. COVID happened, all this stuff, but you had some really good matches. Take a
Yeah.
look at you had a chain match with Maxim Morozov for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah. I could tell you, I was nervous as hell for that. You know why?
Why is that?
Because you've never done it before.
I've never been a wrestler before. I mean, a professional wrestler before. I wrestled amateur in school, but that was the extent of it. So, yeah,
Yeah, it was new. I've never done it. But then after we did it,
yeah.
yo, let's do that again.
That was your first any chain match or anything like that?
That was my first Russian chain match. I mean, I've
Wow.
never had a cage match. I've been in a cage before, but never had a cage match. I've had plenty of street fights, barbed wire. I've been in a tables match. I've been in a ladder match.
I've seen
Uh,
you not go through a table. Or I've seen you bounce
there's a
off the
video
table.
of me going. There's a couple. I've been through a few tables. Yeah, you saw me bounce off one, but there's a video of me and Ron.
Yeah.
Ron giving me a rock bottom through a table, and the table broke and hit him in the eye. It's on YouTube. Then I had the no. Remember the big match I had with Big Jim was no
Street fight.
fans,
Yeah.
balls count anywhere. That was fun.
He tried to kill you
That
with a
was
car, right?
yeah. You almost killed me with a car. Yeah.
Speaking of
Can't
which,
believe it's been over a year since that. But I mean, I can't believe he's gone either.
well, it's been a year since like a lot of weird, the whole year. Indies died through like the year through COVID. We'll get into Jim in a second.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies were trying to find certain ways to keep interest. A lot of online content. So I mean, Paradise Alley did a couple things like that. You know what I mean? That I thought that was a really great concept. You guys had the empty arena. Was a last man standing match? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then
Last minute.
tried to
Yeah.
run you down with a car. So that was
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
That was a first for me, and like you say, COVID changed a lot of things, but I kind of look at the whole thing from the outside.
Uh-huh.
COVID was the worst thing and the best thing probably to happen, because I feel that it started teaching people to kind of look at, like, not to take for granted the most simple things in life. Like we talked about in the beginning, like how I lost weight. I started taking care of myself. It probably gave me longevity. You know, it got to the point where we had no shows, nothing going on. I'm like, I'm kind of liking my weekends, not doing anything. But then he started missing wrestling. Started missing the crowd and performing, and you know, he's. Then once you have it back, and it's like, okay, you know, you cherish it even more. And I'm cherishing a lot more now because I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still far away. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I still feel it every day. I feel it now. I feel it with work. I feel it at the end of the night. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. You know, I didn't see myself being 46, still, you know, 20 years in the business, you know. Yeah.
Let's talk about Big Jim a little bit. You were former tag team partners, former adversaries, and now he's passed. I'm not sure how to ask, but how do you feel about Big Jim's passing?
It's sad because it's actually the first person in my career that's passed that like were active, and I used to see him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and him weren't the best of friends. You know, I remember him first starting in the business, coming around with Jay Busta down in Northeast Wrestling. I mean, I've actually helped, you know, got in the ring with him and helped him, you know, try to help him as much as I can at first in the beginning, you know. But like I said, you know, you know, I had my personal feelings about him, but I didn't let that come to light because I always treated him with respect no matter what, you know. I mean,
right.
you don't, you know, because like when you kind of look at life of like, you know, you have a lot more to lose in life, you know, why say anything, you know, kind of just I let it be water underneath the bridge. And you know, I mean, I never treated him any different. I did the first time I met him, but it was sad because it made me think like, wow, this could happen to me.
Right.
You know, it could be me, you know, out of nowhere. It could be any one of us, you know.
Right.
Kind of shows you how fragile is, how fragile life is.
I remember the night that it happened. I was actually recording with Big Daddy when he got the phone call that he had passed. Mario had called him and interrupted, so he's like, I was recording with him and somebody else. We were doing
I remember.
And I was just like, when he came on, when Big Daddy came back, nothing was the same after that. It's like we pretty much wrapped it up, and it was just like, just a friend of ours passed, and that was it. And I really didn't know, you know, I liked him a lot. I thought he was a really good dude, but you know, I probably didn't know him on the level that a lot of people did, you know. He was just always very friendly to me. He always went out of his way to say hello. We talked about music a lot online, you know, and at shows and stuff like that. Never about wrestling. I don't think I've ever discussed wrestling with him outside of like the podcast, maybe like his appearance on the podcast. But you know, he's greatly missed though. It's like it's really hard to think that someone that you had probably just spoke to just a couple days prior, all of a sudden you get a notification that he died within a, you know, it's just very bizarre, and it kind of hits you in a certain way, you know. Somebody that you're used to seeing at shows, you walk in the door, there he is. And I always said that he was like a very friendly person. I don't know what your personal relationship was with him, but he would always make his way over to me just to shake my hand and say, "Hey, how's it going?" And you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same with me. It, you know, but like you said, I mean, people have their own demons, you know, and sometimes they can't control it. And I don't know too much. I mean, and I remember Mario called me crying, and I had just gotten home from the gym. I'm like, "What's the matter?" And he told me, and his family wanted to hush hush, you know, not to say nothing. And I called Ron. I told Zombie. I called one of a mutual friend that we both know, somebody that I'm, you know, I kind of talk to and close with. And then next thing you know, I started blowing up online.
I was, you know, I wasn't gonna post anything, and then I was asked by somebody to, you know, to not post anything, so I didn't. And I kind of felt after a while, after it blew up, that it was kind of safe to. But then I was contacted to not to take it down. But you know, I'm not gonna, which I understood completely. But once the company actually announced it and made it official, that's when I felt a little bit more comfortable to
Yeah.
repost. You know what I mean? So it was just, and it was felt not only through the professional wrestling community, but the punk rock community as well. I knew a bunch of people that had actually known him in the music, the punk rock music scene throughout Connecticut that had posted it because he was in that punk band that had known him and couldn't believe that the whole entire thing. So I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he is missed.
Yeah.
It's just a different thing when you walk into that arena and he's not there.
Yeah, because like you said, like you go there and you're expecting to see people, and they're not. It's not the same, And
It's gonna take
but
some getting used to.
I never wished him harm or anything. I mean, I just like I said, I looked at it, like you know what, he whatever demons he was fighting or whatever. I mean, I can't. There's nothing I could do for him except pray.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, like I said, I just kind of kept it to myself. And why make this big deal out of something that that doesn't need to be, it needs to be anything. So we just kind of let things. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely, 100%.
So you always take the high road.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, he's missed, and it's weird because we were supposed to be in a 6-man tag for Diesel Mania.
I heard, yeah, I heard what was supposed to happen over those 2 shows between Rumble in Paradise and Diesel Mania. But the whole entire thing changed. I guess you were supposed to be in a 6-man tag, and then you got put into the battle royal, considering that he had passed, and you guys did a beautiful tribute to him at the end, you and Mario.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I didn't know what Mario was going to say. I didn't know.
Yeah. But Mario took the, I guess, took the L, jumped over the rope, and
yeah, it was my first ever winning a battle royal in my career. My first time ever. I was so happy I didn't have to go over.
It's kind of emotional, every time Mario gets up there and talks about Jim. He opened up Rumble in Paradise with this amazing speech about Jim, and once the Battle Royal happened at Diesel Mania, it was pretty interesting, it was nice. They were very close.
Like I said, I mean, I feel at home in PAPW, and I've been wanting to go there for a long time. It was just, like I said, what held me back was loyalty. I didn't want to lose my spot. I didn't want to. But the best decision I made was move on.
I think I was at your first show in Paradise Alley. I think. I could be wrong.
At the hockey ring?
It's at the hockey rink. Who did you wrestle? Do you remember? I know you. Yeah, see, you don't remember either.
The flamboyant one.
That doesn't. That does nothing.
Not Kenny Roberts.
Not Kenny Roberts. Yeah. Okay. So I wasn't at the first one then, but I remember. I had. And I've said this a lot of times. I was out of wrestling for a couple of years, and then I started coming around because of a chance meeting Paul Roma at a gas station one day, who invited me to the shows, and then so I started running in. I remember when I heard your music and I saw you come out, and I was like, I legitimately just texted my friend. I was like, "Holy shit, Bull Dredd is here!" I was like, you remember this guy? Because I hadn't been around. I had literally stopped going to shows for about almost 3 years. When I divorced my first wife, and prior to meeting my second wife, there was like a gap there. You know what I mean?
Well, my first show for Paradise Alley was at the hockey rink, then the second one I think was the Rumble in Paradise. The third one is Diesel Mania when I was the special, I was an open challenge for the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
so probably that one.
I don't. Were you? That's not where you won the title, right?
No. It was.
I'm really trying to remember, because it was like going back a couple years, and I don't even honestly. It was that long ago. My memory's kind of shot. As I get older, I get older, I can't remember stuff.